Okay. Good afternoon and welcome, you beautiful human beings. Welcome, DVD Markets community. Welcome, Premium Plus subscribers, if you're watching us right here, right now, live. Let us know where in the world you're joining us from. Let us know what's going down. It is cold in Cape Town. It is windy, but we are happy. We're indoors. We're trading the markets. We're having fun in the markets. You're part of Premium Plus. You should be having fun with us too. So there's a ton to discuss, a ton to get into. So let's just jump right in it for today. Now, if you are part of Premium Plus, if you were part of the golden nugget this morning, we had two options: US 30, US 100. US 100 performed a bit better than US 30, didn't have as aggressive of a pullback. But if you are on either of those trades right now, I did advise if you re-enter on US 30, you can close up and take some profit there. But that is running nicely right now for around about, let's give it a quick look. It seems to be, let's have a look here. If you're still in that trade, around about 1,200 pips on US 100. That had a nice push, a nice pop for quite a bit over there. So if you're in those trades, you should be smiling. Now, we are currently in gold in terms of a long. This is my analysis account, so it is looking a little bit crazy from a technicals perspective, but I will explain briefly what is going on, as well as what's happening in the dollar. But first, before we get into that, let's quickly have a look at what is happening in the world from just a news and fundamentals perspective. Now, please remember, if you're part of Premium Plus, we are going to be doing this NVIDIA data release, or the income quarterly statement release, tomorrow evening. We're going to be streaming this one live. Guys, NVIDIA is setting the markets alight right now. NVIDIA up today, well, the last 24 trading hours, up almost 9%, right? And this is hugely in anticipation of their release that is coming out on Wednesday evening. Now, the reason this is big, the reason this is massive, and I touched on this yesterday, is NVIDIA is leading some of the AI developments from a hardware perspective, right? So this announcement is really going to give us an insight into everything AI. For those of you interested in seeing how the world is changing with things like ChatGPT, as well as a bunch of these other AI resources and tools, that's on the software side. On the hardware side and the actual data learning and machine learning side, you have corporations like NVIDIA that are generating and producing some of these chips that are used to power the future of AI. Now, what their insights are into uptake and sort of availability and scalability of what they're doing with their capacity will really give us an insight into, is this AI boom or bubble starting to slow down, or was it only getting started? And this is going to be extremely interesting, and I think detrimental to every trader out there, even if you're not trading, just to understand the future of where things are going, because this will really kick off if this is something we really need to start paying attention to. I personally believe we do, but the data lies in the details, and we are going to obviously details lie in the data rather. So we are going to be diving into that tomorrow evening. We'll be doing that live. In terms of the rest of the world, we're getting a bit of a mixed message. We're getting a bunch of messages, and I've been through other sites, some other fundamentals, and there's a little bit of a 50-50 across the board, right? If you have a look at where we are from some of the markets, some of these market structural perspectives, we're definitely heading into a new season. However, we still have NVIDIA's data to obviously comb through. That's going to be coming out tomorrow. And we also have that financial gathering or committee that Powell is going to be speaking on Thursday. And what we're hoping for to see out of that is some sort of indication, not only the state of the US economy, but he's obviously going to be under a bit of pressure to provide some forward sight into where the economy is, what the Federal Reserve is thinking in terms of interest rates. Now, currently the consensus is that because of the strong data that we saw, if you guys remember last week, we got that retail sales data way stronger than expected, right? And we saw the dollar not perform as well. We saw the dollar sink on extremely strong data, which was odd from a fundamental data perspective. But that is going to be one of the things the Fed is going to have to battle in terms of this upcoming interest rate announcement. So there's a bit of a mixed message across the board. Some people are saying stocks have got problems. Some people are saying, there's a comeback coming to Wall Street. Regardless, doesn't matter. We don't care. It's not important right now. We're going to rely on price action. That's the exact reason we got into our gold long position earlier today. So currently looking at things, we don't have too many fundamentals this afternoon. We've got some existing home sales that will be coming out at 4 o'clock. That's 4 o'clock GMT +2. So that's the only big item we really need to be taking care of. But further than that, we have a few options for today, and one trade in particular that I discussed in a little bit of detail yesterday, which is an opportunity for a gold long. Now, we are finally in that position, and what we're doing is we're looking out for, what factors are going to boost that position to the top side. So as I sent out into Premium Plus, we looked at a buy opportunity on gold, and we looked at an entry point of that 1900 on the dot mark, right? We rallied up around about 40 pips per position, and we've gone into a little bit of a pullback state. Now, ignore the rest of my chart here, and potentially I should probably clean this up. We were having a discussion with some of the leaders around some Fibonacci tools, but in essence, what we're looking for here is, on the start of the US session, are we going to see a little bit of that dollar weakness? Now, why are we basing this on the dollar? What is the big motivator here? So the first thing that is really, really helpful to your trading journey is when we see, right, markets that move in correlation. So when we see something like, as an example, right, I'll go to 15 minutes too, on gold, US 30, let's get in there, US 30, as well as US 100, right? So on 15 minutes, we can see that both US 30, US 100, and gold are all in bull territory, right? They have these bull market structures. Now, the common denominator between all three of these are the dollar. So when we see a common denominator like the dollar present in multiple market structures, it then makes our job extremely easy as traders, because then all we need to do is then go back to the dollar and have a look at what is it predicted to do against all other baskets of currencies. And this is where we dive into the dollar index and we give it a bit more attention. Now, again, as I spoke about towards the end of last week, we started to see, apologies, at the start of this week, yesterday even, we started to see the dollar start to meander out and potentially break out of the zone. Now, end of last week, I was very, very interested, and I was pretty much focused on, would the dollar maintain some of these highs, and would it potentially break out? And we've started to move out here. This is the dollar index on a 1 hour time frame. This is the dollar against all other currencies, commodities, etc. So we've moved out of this zone. Now, when moving out of a zone or breaking out of a structure, it's not absolutely written in stone that it's going to go and just fall, right? You guys know that after any sort of impulse stage, whether a bull or bear market, we can either go into one of two states, right? We can either break out and consolidate, right? If it's been a hectic market, it may want to regather itself and then choose the next state that it goes into, or it can absolutely break out and then immediately start to fall. In this case, we're breaking out into a small consolidation, but that consolidation is giving us some price action to rely on, and we're mostly paying attention to that over there. So earlier today, we looked at the potential of selling gold, for the reason being that the dollar needed to retrace back into the zone. And with the message that I sent to Premium Plus, I mentioned that I would be very interested to see if the dollar maintains or at least stays below that 103.30 mark for this US session, and if the US session would lead to a further downside on the dollar across the board. Over the last 3 days, we've seen on opens of the US session this decline on the dollar, and today should not be any different. Now, with regards to that, obviously a decline on the dollar would mean a potential buy opportunity or further buy opportunity on gold. Now, as you guys can see, and again, this is my analysis account, but as you guys can see on the dollar, on gold at this point in time, if we go down to a 1 minute time frame, you'll see that we've been in this heavy consolidation phase, but we're starting to create a new price action structure, right? So on a microstructural level, we're now looking at something along that line there. Now, what I would like to see on this US session, primarily before the New York Stock Exchange, is a breakout above that 103.45, 1903.45 mark, because that would then signal that dollar weakness, and we could then make some further highs. Now, the reason why this is so important, why we're paying so much attention to this, is due to gold on a 4 hour time frame, and the fact that we've been in this bear market structure pretty much since the 19th of last month. So almost to the day, a full trading month, we've been in this bear market. Now, yesterday, as I mentioned in yesterday's live video, I was very interested whether we would start to break out of this market structure, and we did. And I would have liked to have grabbed a deeper buy opportunity here. However, we started to see that on a closer time frame, this is on a 30-minute time frame, on the breakout, we are starting to then make that price action structure. This morning, I looked at the potential sell opportunity, again, looking at that potential stronger dollar building up to that zone. We're looking at selling off, but then we popped through, and that's where we issued off that buy at the 1900 flat mark. So I would like to see continuations further to the top side, at least until the 1905 mark, giving us about 50 pips worth of running profit per position, so that we can obviously secure and move our stop loss to break even. I did say in Premium Plus, if you have a smaller account, you want to move your stop loss as quickly to break even as possible. And my job is to get us into profitable trades and remove the risk as quickly as possible. It's then for you to decide how you want to manage that trade once you're in a winning direction. However, with that being said, I am looking at this from a long-term perspective. I'm not looking at this from a scalping perspective. So whilst we are targeting, and I've put in the TP there that we are targeting in the region of about 500 pips, meaning we could potentially go all the way back up to a retracement of the 61.8. I am looking at this from a super long-term perspective. I'm potentially looking at gold getting back up into that 2050 to the dollar mark, meaning there's a massive swing trade opportunity available to us. Now, even if you have a smaller account and you can't potentially hold on to a swing trade while you have these, smaller risk management protocols to deal with, we'll have multiple entries on its way up. The most important thing that you understand is that we are potentially changing a state of markets. Even though we're not changing a yearly trend, we're certainly breaking a monthly trend. And considering that, the start of August, at least July, was one of the worst months for stocks so far of this year in terms of that downwards trend, we are breaking out of that. Whatever goes down must come up, and vice versa. So we are looking at least retracing to that 61.8 and even 78.6 or 88.2 as a bare minimum for gold. Now, that is the big opportunity that exists today. Obviously, if you got part and parcel of the daily nuggets or the golden nugget this morning, then you would have been in a trade for the majority of the day, specifically on US 30 and US 100. Now, the important thing to know, part of Premium Plus for the golden nuggets, is that when I give out the golden nuggets, it's going to be up to you whether you take your stop loss to entry or you want to hold it out. On average, the golden nugget works out 4 out of 5 days a week. So on that one day, if you're wrong, you want to make sure that you're wrong for no more than 5%, right? And if you're right, we're going to ride out those rights. As we saw yesterday, it rode out all the way into the US session. Today, it's done a similar thing, and we will continue to do this day in, day out. Now, the purpose of giving you guys this golden nugget, a lot of places out there, a lot of people you see on Instagram, their whole trading strategy is based on the simple volume rule, the simple change that happens every single day in the markets. Now, on Wednesday, I'm going to be hosting a Zoom session with you guys on Wednesday afternoon, plus minus about 6-7 p.m. If you're part of Premium Plus, and only for Premium Plus users, I'm going to be going over the golden nugget in greater details and giving you conditions of what to look for, what are the entry conditions, what are the exit conditions, as well as an additional time every single day. So there's 2 moments every single day on the US 30 as well as US 100 that have telltale signs of potential market direction. I'm going to be teaching that on Wednesday, only to people in Premium Plus as of Wednesday tomorrow. So again, if you're watching this, you're part of the free groups, you want to get part of Premium Plus, there's no better time to do it. Once it's done, I'm not going to be reteaching this again every single week. So you want to make sure you get hands on that. So for today, what is our big goal? Today is about managing where gold currently is and where gold is currently going. So obviously we want to see what it does over the US session, but a big win for the session would be if we see again, like I said, that pop out above that 103.30, but to be safe, that 1903, 1904 mark would be ideal. We'd want to see a break of that previous high from let's have a look here at about 12:30 or 12:20 today. That's going to be the bigger goal for today, is running that gold trade long term. In terms of US 30, in terms of USA 100, I'm not 100% sure whether we want to take a trade on the New York Stock Exchange Open, for the reason being, yesterday, if we look at US 30 as well as US 100, right? So I'm just going to go back to yesterday and just show you guys why I was a little bit hesitant yesterday. We gave it out anyway, but I wasn't all too happy with it, right? If we have a look at yesterday, sorry, I'm busy looking at gold there, right? That's why I was wondering why it looks a little bit strange there. Okay, so if we have a look at yesterday, and the reason why there's a little bit of a hiccup yesterday, I'm going to just drop back down into a minute just so you guys can see the detail. We just got over to yesterday really quickly. At the time of the New York Stock Exchange, here's the New York Stock Exchange. We showed signs on both US 100 and US 30 that there's some strong bull activity. We may push and pop through to the top side. This is a 1 minute time frame. US 30, as we gave out the buy order, immediately had a bit of a pullback and then rallied, but then ultimately just collapsed in that session. If we have a look at US 100 comparatively, did a very, very different thing over the same time frame, right? So US 100 popped the way it was supposed to and continued running the way it was supposed to. So here's US 100. Yesterday, same thing. We saw a bunch of signs, price action that you should break to the top side, and it did. However, we picked US 30 instead of US 100, right? So when the correlations break, I'm a little more cautious. I'd like to see indices run together, and that includes even something as close as German 30 or German 40. When indices do not run together, we have external factors affecting one or the other. It's always hard to tell what those factors may be, because it may be on a Wall Street level, it may be on an investment level, and I'm always a little bit more cautious when I see something like that. So for a day like today, our ultimate goal every single day trading is that by the time we get to the New York Stock Exchange, if we've made our PIP target for the day, we are having an absolutely amazing day. If we've ticked that box, we are celebrating that we don't have a need to trade the New York Stock Exchange, because that's when there's a ton of volume. That's when there's a bunch of things that go wrong. So if we approach the New York Stock Exchange and we've hit our targets, guys, then you are in the right place and you're doing exactly what you need to be doing as a trader. Then it becomes optional. Should you want to trade the New York Stock Exchange, should we see volume, we don't have to enter on or just before the New York Stock Exchange. We can see the volume come in, analyze the volume, and take a trade 5 or 10 minutes after the New York Stock Exchange has materialized, and then take a trade based on what we see from a price action perspective. That's the type of approach we're going to take today. Yesterday, before the US session, we already had I'd banked personally about 5,000 pips just off the golden nugget on US 100, US 30. Today, I don't know where we are total pips wise, but we are in a very, very good position. So we have no need to rush it out, no need to crush it out and force a trade that isn't there in the first place. Our main focus, and my main focus, is going to be nursing on gold and a potential long side, because again, I'm holding some bigger trades on my investment accounts and investment positions, even though I would have liked to, and as I've said to the team in the leadership group, even though I would have liked to have got entry way, way lower. Ideally this morning, I was hoping that we should make a pullback, right, to that 1,888 would have been the perfect buy zone for me. But again, we have to trade with what we're given. Price action dictates that if we break out of zone, we wait for the retest. The retest is deemed successful, then potentially we will continue. So we're getting a little bit of a late entry into a long-term trade. But again, as I said, should this materialize long-term, we are looking in excess of 500 pips, potentially even close to 1,000 pips. Now, 1,000 pips on gold is mind-blowing stuff. You've just got a one lot position on 1,000 pips. That's $10 per pip. That's a $10,000 trade, 190,000 Rand per position, right? So that's big stuff, massive stuff. That's potentially where we want to go. So that's going to be the main focus for today. I'm not too worried about anything else right now in the markets. That is where our main focus is going to be. So just a quick shout out to everybody around the world. Let's just check where everybody's coming in from. If you haven't commented where you are joining us from right now, then you are definitely going to be deemed as a suspect. If I see you on the live show and you're not commenting about where you're at, let's quickly have a look where everybody is at. Okay, so I can see Hassan is in the house. I can see Miss B is in the house here. Ruf Chua is in the house. I always say Ruf Chua. Marsha keeps saying it's not Ruf Chua, it's Rufus Chua. Anyway, Lucky, Alvin, what's happening? Naresh is in the house. Mikhail is in the house. I see Reward. I can see Lana is in the house, and I can see Dale. I can see Shavir. I can see Jahanga. Nakim is in the house. So just welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, that's going to be our main focus for today. We're starting the week off in a very, very good space. I have a ton of things planned for next month in terms of consistent training and events for you guys as part of Premium Plus, because I believe, again, Premium Plus, yes, we're taking trade opportunities, we're generating opportunities to take advantage of the market, right? That is obviously the main reason why a lot of people come here. But over and above that, I really believe, and we share the same vision about empowering traders and giving you the tools as to why we do certain things. Instead of just calling out a position, I believe it's super important you understand the thinking behind it, because again, there's a lot of guys out there that are just guessing, right? Sending groups, buy now, sell now. There's thousands of pips in drawdown. You blow your accounts. I was actually discussing with somebody this morning. There's groups out there, you subscribe, you're in thousands of pips of drawdown. You've blown your accounts. Two hours later on social media, they're posting, hey, I've just made 6 figures. And you left there wondering, is there something wrong with you? Are you stupid? No, it's just people aren't being transparent out there. So over and above understanding and taking the trade, we want you to understand why that is. And if there's tools and skills you need outside of the academy, then that is where we're going to have constant weekly scheduled training events where it's you and me together in a Zoom, and you're allowed to ask questions. We're allowed to dive into different things. But again, make sure you've been through the academy. Guys, if you've been through the academy, please go and just put your hands up in the comments. If you haven't been through the academy, the free Quantum Growth Markets Academy, just put a, I'm not sure, put a, I don't know, put a thumbs down. If you, no, don't put a thumbs down. That's negative. Do anything else. If you've been through the academy, put your thumb up. If you haven't been through the academy, I don't know, put a whale or a snail or something in the comments. I just want to make sure everybody's been through academy, because again, if we host these sessions for Premium Plus, I want to make sure it's not a duplicate of what we already cover in the academy, which is big, which is massive, right? There's price action there. There's a ton. Rufus hasn't been through academy. No. Aslam's got a whale, but Aslam has to have been through the academy. Actually, I'm not sure if Aslam's been through the academy. Actually, I'm not sure. Rufus, you haven't been through the academy. Naresh, not been through the academy. I can see Ms. B's there. I'm pretty sure Ms. B has not been through the academy either. So guys, again, that was probably 200 hours of work to create one of the best free academies out there in the world right now. You will pay 15,000 Rand easily anywhere else out there to learn even 10% of what's in there. If you want to understand price action, if you want to understand risk management, you want to understand psychology, if you want to understand brokers, if you want to understand pips, you want to understand market structures, it's all there for you and freely available. The link is in the description of this video. It's also in the Telegram groups down below. It is 8 hours, but it's an investment. If you want to take this space seriously and you want to stop getting tricked and falling into these unfortunate positions, take the academy, build yourself a trading plan, and take it seriously. It will take you from level to level. I promise you, it is worth your while. Go ahead and do that. If you're watching this after this, not watching us live, you're part of the free groups. The guys, the academy is free for anybody around the world. Anybody. It doesn't matter where you're from, even if you speak English or don't. I think the subtitles, I'm not sure if there isn't, I'm sorry beforehand, but it is free for everybody around the world. So go ahead and take advantage of that. We will schedule these weekly trainings for you guys. Remember, tomorrow we are starting with the golden nuggets. I will throw some other things in there, but it also have an opportunity for questions and answers. So please make sure if you have a question in tomorrow's live training, that it is not something that's already in the academy. I'm not saying you're gonna feel like it, but I don't want you to feel like a poople when I say, hey, this is in the academy, right? So just saying. But other than that, we will schedule that for tomorrow at around about 6 p.m. I'm gonna have a little bit of a busy morning. Miss Marsha and I have a bit of personal things to take care of in the morning, but I will see you guys in the morning. Outside of that, to be part of Premium Plus, we'll continue to see you guys in the groups. We're going to continue to look at opportunities and how we can take advantage of the markets this afternoon. So let's stick it out. Let's hang in there. As always, you know the drill. Be safe, trade safe, and I'll see you guys all a little bit later. Until then, goodbye.